sippers. Hey, tea sippers. Okay, so before I really get started, I'm going to tap into this missing little girl. Well, this is the last picture that they have of her. But say baby girl is missing. She's 9 years old. And I don't have the details behind her. But it's falling up under where we were going with this payoff with Virginia and Ghislaine Maxwell. So I want us to touch bases here. Again,
Mom's not cooperating.
Her mama's not cooperating. That's all I needed to hear, right? Missing little girl and mama's not cooperating. What is this down here? So I said, well, okay. Let me show her face. Let me go here. Let's go.
No. If you've seen this little girl, I'm going to show you a picture. Her name is Melodee Buzzard. She is cute as a button.
Melodee.
But we haven't had any pictures of her in 2 years. And people who know her say they haven't seen her in many, many months. And police are asking her mother, where's the little girl? Talking about it. You started talking about it. And now there's a state lawmaker in Oklahoma who's not only talking about it, you hear what he has in mind and what he has to say about the legal wranglings in that jurisdiction. That's coming as well. Do you, by any chance, know if you've seen this little girl? I'm going to show you a picture. Her name is Melodee Buzzard. She is cute as a button.
Very pretty little girl.
But we haven't had any pictures of her in 2 years. And people who know her say they haven't seen her in many, many months. And police are asking her mother, where's the little girl? But they say mom's not cooperating. And now mom apparently has gone on a cross-country trip with this little one. And they can't find her. So yeah, we're on a woman hunt tonight for this little child. Take a screen grab. We're going to talk more about it in just a moment.
Have you seen
this
her?
This is serious, folks. That little girl, we don't even have a photo of her that's more reliable than 2 years ago. So we're going to talk about that in a moment. Let's start here, though.
So well, let me
Virginia
get to
Giuffrie made sure that the...
Hold on. I don't want to talk about her yet. I want to talk about the little girl that's missing. Too many pedos out here. Right? So I want to get the what's going on with this little girl so everybody can...
To change Butler's status from adult to youthful offender. After which he pleaded...
She got a lot going on.
And what you're going to see is this case put off, and they're going to try to outweight you.
Points, and then breaking out of prison is breaking through again on the silver screen. He's known as Roof Man, and he hid from the cops in a Toys R Us store in Charlotte. And when I say lay low, he actually lived in that store for months. He ate snacks and took things off the shelves, used baby monitors to keep an eye out for employees.
I don't know when she's going to talk about this little girl, but listen.
And whatnot. People like swimsuits at a pool party, Virginia, at Epstein's invitation. But
I'm going to go back to this
lawmaker in Oklahoma who's not only talking about it, he's going to do something about it. And he's on the program tonight. So wait until you hear what he has in mind and what he has to say about the legal wranglings in that jurisdiction. That's coming as well. Do you, by any chance, know if you've seen this little girl? I'm going to show you a picture. Her name is Melodee Buzzard. She is cute as a button.
Keep an eye out.
But we haven't had any pictures of her in 2 years. And people who know her say they haven't seen her in many, many months. And police are asking her mother, where's the little girl? But they say mom's not cooperating. And now mom apparently has gone on a cross-country trip with this little one. And they can't find her. So yeah, we're on a woman hunt tonight for this little child. Take a screen grab. We're going to talk more about it in just a moment. But this is serious, folks. That little girl, we don't even have a photo of her that's
Look,
more reliable than
okay.
2 years ago. So
Hold
we're going to
on.
talk about that in a moment.
And her name is spelled Molodee from California. Did the mother of the missing California girl drag her halfway around the country? We don't know, but her name is Melodee Buzzard, I think she said. So be on the lookout for little Melodee, okay? I wanted to start, where's my other phone? I wanted to start with her, because y'all know I'll get all wrapped up. And then next thing you know, I'll be trying to leave, because I got another live set up. That kind of took me by surprise. I ain't gonna even lie. Hey, Giuffrie and Janet. Hey. Yeah, I got another live set up. Baby. When I tell you, it just keep getting deeper and deeper. I just don't know how to take all of this. I mean, whoa, Jack. But listen, I do have another live set up after this one about the Rothschilds. Yes, sir. The Rothschilds and Israel. They say this Israel, we gonna try to get some little clarification. You know, I'm about facts, right? I'm about getting to the nitty gritty. And I know it may not be popular, and all of that right there. But that's what I'm about getting to. And hopefully y'all will understand. So that's why I got to be off of here with this one. So let me go on. Because I do know that old girl has little Precious. I want to look up her name. But I got, hey, Mimi. Oh, that's what I was doing. I didn't want to get past the spelling. Hold on. Yeah, and trying to do a little research on, it's just so confusing. I don't want buzz it. Okay. Oh, she is a pretty little girl. Oh, wow. Lord, please protect her. Let me go here right quick. Hold on. Yeah, and trying to, figure out what's going on with these Rothschilds and what's going on with this Israel and Christians, and because I think yesterday we heard something about a
so here, though,
Christian Zionist. I think when we was watching the history, and that's not possible. So we gonna tap into that a little later. So I'm gonna try my best to stay on point, and I'm already off track because I'm trying to pull up this baby girl real quick. So to get a little backstory on it. So please bear with me. Y'all please come in hitting the like button. Every time I say
to Miramar Beach,
I'm not gonna do something, I wind up doing it anyway. I'm gonna have to do better. When I say I'm not gonna be, never mind. I ain't finna fuss. Come on, let's check it out. Melodee Buzzard And baby left alone on beach by parents, Lord.
Texas parents arrested for leaving their 6-month-old baby alone on a popular beach. This after claiming that they just lost track of time while they went for a walk. Officers responded to Miramar Beach in Florida after reports of an unattended infant last Friday. Witnesses told police the baby was left alone while the parents were wandering around the beach with their other kids. According to the Walton County Sheriff's Office, Sarah and Brian Wilkes allegedly left their baby underneath a tent for about an hour. Police say the couple admitted to placing the baby under the tent to take a nap before leaving with their other 3 kids for that walk. First responders confirmed the baby, seen here in a photo taken on the beach, was not in distress and the vital before leaving with their other 3 kids for that walk. First responders confirmed the baby, seen here in a photo taken on the beach, was not in distress and the vitals, thank God, were normal. DCF did take the child into custody pending the arrival of the family members traveling in from Texas. Now, Brian and Sarah Wilkes are now defendants. They were arrested, charged with child neglect without great bodily harm. They were both released on $1,000 bond the following day. So this morning we're wondering, how does this happen? Let's bring in retired FBI Special Agent Jennifer Coffin-Daffer and private investigator with Black Ops Private Investigators, Manuel Gomez. Good morning to you both. Manuel, would you start us off, please? How's this happen?
Let's get to Melanie.
This is authorities say that her mom isn't cooperating. The search for may happen. What else? I couldn't agree with you more, my friend. Let's switch gears and turn to another story. This is another child case. This one a bit different, though, with the facts. The FBI now involved in the search of missing 9-year-old Melodee Buzzard. This is authorities say that her mom isn't cooperating. The search for Melodee is going into week number 2 today after a school administrator reported the child's prolonged absence. Investigators say that this beautiful girl hasn't been seen since August, while her aunt tells USA Today that she hasn't seen Melodee in over 4 years.
Oh, wow.
There's a portion of the statement released by the Santa Barbara Sheriff's Office Monday saying, quote, at this point in the investigation, Ashley Buzzard remains uncooperative and has not provided detectives with any information about Melodee's current location or condition. The primary goal of this investigation is to verify the location and the welfare of Melodee Buzzard and to ensure that she is safe. So let's talk about how investigators find Melodee. Agent Coffin-Daffer, our team has you to thank for flagging this story. We saw it on your Twitter. You do such a great job of profiling these cases with missing kids, and now we see the FBI's joined in the search. This is getting really big.
Yep.
Talk to me here.
Protect
what needs
the kids.
to happen in your view, please?
Well, first of all, one of the biggest things is exactly what Court TV is doing right now, and that is keeping her face out there for the public, because I believe it's going to take public tips to find out whether she's even been seen. I saw a recent update this morning that on October 7th, she's actually been seen out of county. They believe she could be as far as Nebraska by this point. And this is critical for people. If you see something, you must say something, because that is probably how Melodee is going to be found.
Wow, I really appreciate that, Jen. Manuel, I want to go to you here. Tell us what you would like to see happening in the search for this precious girl.
I'm shocked that the police department is not utilizing Child Protective Services. Child Protective Services can force the mother to produce that child, can even get a warrant to do that. Now, if the Sheriff's Department can't do it, Child Protective Services, that agency, has the power to do that. Why hasn't that been utilized? I don't know. And finally, there are no standardized regulations regarding homeschooling. Okay? Across the United States, there is none. We need to have a United States standardized regulation. Number one.
Could we use your house to trial our 24-hour bathroom upgrade system? We're looking for homeowners within...
They must mandatorily check in with the teacher for 30 minutes, FaceTime, once a week. Number two, FaceTime meeting, face-to-face, once a month with a teacher, so we can assure that educational standards are being met and that the child's welfare is okay. Unfortunately, nowhere in the United States do we have a standardized regulation regarding homeschool. And this is why thousands of kids go missing. Child Protective Services needs to intervene into this case.
Oh, that's a great, really great point you're raising here, Manuel. Let's dovetail off of that. Jen, I saw in one of the posts you put up on your Twitter account about how this case reminds you of Harmony Montgomery's case, which, as you know, you both know, we talk about a lot on this show, and we have for years, and we'll continue to remember this precious angel. She is a great example of being failed by literally everyone in her life, and especially the Department of Children and Family Services.
wow.
Jen, what are some of the things that remind you of Harmony's case when you analyze Melodee Buzzard's case?
Well, when you look at this, especially early on, Julie, no one knew how long she had been gone. Law enforcement is now doing a great job using the FBI, getting them involved because jurisdiction apparently has been changing, which makes it very difficult on the local jurisdiction to keep track of this case. With the FBI involved now, finally we have some answers as to her being seen at least twice, once in August and once in October. But it reminded me so much of this case because no one knew the last time she had been seen. And I love Manuel's point about homeschooling. So often homeschooling is used to actually keep the children and the crimes committed against them hidden, because no longer are they in school where people can see bruises and broken arms and things. So there does need to be a standardization and, remain extremely concerned about her.
Yes, you're both bringing up such great points.
Wow.
It really seems we need reformation there for sure. And in the meantime, as you said, Jen, hopefully
what
everyone
happened?
will keep sharing her picture and talking about her case.
Okay, so let me get back because I don't have the full details on even why they looking at or why the alarm and what part of it they're not saying. So keep your, if you expect, well, she could be all over. So Melodee Buzzard. Oh, this is her mom? Oh, well, let's look at the mom.
There has been a frantic search for missing 9-year-old Melodee Buzzard, but it is now being reported that this girl, who we previously thought hadn't been seen in a year, was possibly spotted in August, with her mother apparently not cooperating with authorities.
Okay, so this is the mother. She looked just like her mom. So this is the missing 9-year-old mother. This is the mother. And they say it's a frantic search for her. Lord Jesus.
What is going on behind the scenes? What can the public do to help? And what can we expect next? We are going to bring on a private investigator who is an expert in these kinds of cases. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. Have you heard about this Melodee Buzzard story? It is blowing up on social media and in the news. It is a really, really distressing situation happening out in California. You have this 9-year-old little girl out of Vandenberg Village. This is in Lompoc, California. She has been missing. Authorities initially said that no one had seen her in a year. However, there's been an update. ABC News is reporting that California authorities now say she was last seen in August of 2025. And this comes as the FBI's Los Angeles office just announced Sunday night that it is now getting involved in the investigation. And no matter when she was last seen, the natural question is, why are we only learning about this now, right? So this is from the Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Office press release. The investigation began on Tuesday, October 14th, 2025, after a school administrator reported Melodee's prolonged absence. Deputies attempted to contact Melodee and her mother, Ashley Buzzard, at their home in the 500 block of Mars Avenue, but Melodee was not there, and no clear explanation was provided for her whereabouts. That's key. Because in this press release, they stressed that detectives couldn't confirm any recent sightings of Melodee, and the most recent photo of her was from 2 years ago. So now the natural second question is, what is going on here?
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete AI.
Well, here's something to keep in mind. So the sheriff's PIO, Raquel Zick, told KSBY that Melodee, quote, last attended a homeschooling program approximately 1 year ago, But the Lompoc Unified School District confirmed that before that, she was enrolled at Buena Vista Elementary. However, remember when I said that it's come out that Melodee was now reportedly seen in August? Well, the district has come out and said that Melodee was enrolled with the district, that she and Ashley, her mom, visited Mission Valley Independent School to begin the registration process. This happened back in August. The Lompoc Unified School District said in a statement regarding this independent study program, quote, "In our independent study program, if a student fails to pick up assignments, the student is referred back to their school of residence, which then contacts the family to complete enrollment. If attendance does not begin, the school follows mandatory truancy procedures, including phone calls, letters, emails, and home visits. When a student or family cannot be reached after these efforts, the school requests a welfare check from law enforcement. We are doing everything within our authority to support this investigation, including providing records and coordinating with the sheriff's office." And here's what happened. It was a school district staff member who realized they hadn't seen Melodee, that she hadn't checked in since apparently registering. Lieutenant Chris Gottschall of the sheriff's office said, quote, "Lompoc Unified School District deserves credit for recognizing that something wasn't right, reaching out and continuing to assist with this investigation. This important update helps narrow a significant gap in the timeline of when she was last known to be seen, and because of that, we're closer to understanding what happened to Melodee." Now, the school district confirmed that it is working with law enforcement during the course of this investigation. It is also offering counseling and support for students. Now, before we go any further into this mystery, I'm going to provide you the contact information if you should know absolutely anything that may help finding Melodee. Okay? So the sheriff's office can be reached at 805-681-4150. Anonymous tips can be made by calling 805-681-4171, or you can go online at sbsheriff.org. Now let me talk to you about Melodee's mother, Ashley. We talk about homeschooling, right? A California Department of Education spokesperson reportedly confirmed that there is no record of Ashley filing an annual private school affidavit, which is a requirement for homeschooling. Quote, "Per state law, the CDE does not assess or physically inspect private or homeschools. Filing an annual affidavit is the only thing that is required." And according to KSBY, neighbors are very concerned. You have Janet Holmes, who lives near this 500 block of Mars Avenue. This is again where authorities say Melodee lives. Said, quote, "As a mother, my mom heart absolutely cannot take this. I felt really inclined to step in." And apparently, by the way, she did. She tried to go over to speak with Ashley, this little girl's mother, last Thursday morning, but apparently no one answered the door. KSBY reports that about a half an hour later, someone appearing to be Ashley came out of a car, walked straight to the front door, didn't speak with the media, didn't speak with KSBY, and shut the door. Then, community reporter Crystal Bermudez reportedly knocked on the door of the house. No one answered. Later on that day, this woman, again believed to be Ashley, was seen loading things into her car and then driving away. When she comes back, it was reported there was this large yellow scrape on the back door of the car, as well as a dent on the door. This woman, again, seemingly Ashley, didn't say anything to KSBY outside. And according to KSBY, another neighbor of Ashley says that Child Protective Services and law enforcement, they've been at this home for the past few days. That surveillance footage has been collected from neighbors. And talk about neighbors, neighbors tell KSBY that Ashley kind of kept to herself. Janet Holmes saying she sees Ashley walking in the neighborhood, but never saw Melodee. You have another neighbor who says that she hasn't seen this little girl in at least a year. And talking Ashley and talking Melodee's family, KSBY and USA Today reports that relatives say Ashley cut off their contact with Melodee for years. You have Melodee's aunt, Elizabeth Mez, reportedly told USA Today, "We haven't seen her in over 4 years due to the mother not allowing the family to see her." And that she only found out about Melodee's vanishing through Facebook. She described Melodee as this sweet girl. Quote, "She has a beautiful smile. She's very, very loving, very welcoming. She loved to be around her family." By the way, Meza is Melodee's aunt on her father's side. So we're talking about the father as Rubiel Meza, who apparently died when Melodee was just 6 months old in a motorcycle accident back in 2016. That, by the way, is when Ashley allegedly cut off contact with the family. This is according to USA Today. And now CPS has reportedly been in touch with Meza and her family about Melodee's disappearance, but we don't really have further information about that. Melodee's aunt, Vicky Shade, told the LA Times, "I am horrified for my little niece. I can't imagine what she's gone through. This does not sound good. I just want to know if she's okay. We need to find her." And as for Ashley, ABC is reporting that while law enforcement has gone to Ashley's home pursuant to a search warrant, Ashley's not cooperating. In fact, Shade told LA Times, Ashley is mentally unstable.
She's mentally
Your
unstable.
membership is more than just a card.
I
It's
knew
your
it was a
gateway to
reason.
extraordinary experiences.
It has to be more
With the
into it.
AAA
Something
app,
had
discover savings and hidden
happened.
And my mom tried to get custody, or at least grandparent rights, to visit Melodee because she wasn't letting our side of the family see her. According to the LA Times, the family is putting up posters, speaking on social media to bring awareness. One more thing, by the way, about Ashley. According to the LA Times, federal court records reveal that she filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy in 2017 and has had multiple collection cases for unpaid debts that were filed against her in Santa Barbara County Superior
Mom's
Court.
up
So
to
what we have
dumbness.
here is currently being investigated
Hi, Miriam.
as a missing persons investigation. This is according to the sheriff's office. But what is happening behind the scenes? What can we expect? Now, obviously, this is a story that we wanted to bring to you, and the reason that we can do this, the reason we can cover things like this, is not only because of the amazing support that we get from all of you out there, but also from our incredible sponsor, Morgan & Morgan. This is, by the way, Billy is a former police officer, a group of former law enforcement and military service members who... So for that, let me bring on private investigator Billy Lane, founding member of We Are the Essentials. It's a group of former law enforcement and military service members who use their skills to locate missing family members. They provide a great service. By the way, Billy is a former police officer and undercover narcotics police detective. Thank you so much for taking the time, Billy. What stands out to you about this story?
The fact that no one's seen her in a year. It's very concerning.
Very.
Well, apparently now in August. They might have seen her in August.
Hello.
Well,
Mom saw it.
I'd like
Oh,
to see if that's
Lord.
confirmed or not, because I'll tell you, a lot of the sightings that we have, a large majority of those sightings are not true sightings. I mean, people think it's them and they want it to be them, but when it comes down to the time to actually find out if it's them, a lot of times it's not. And the only way that we're able to determine that is by camera. So unless there's a video or a witness, sometimes, unfortunately, these are concerning.
If it's true that she and her mom were enrolling her now in August for this study program, right? And again, the reason that this made radar is because you had the school staff employee who hadn't seen her since registering. That provides a timeline. And when you hear law enforcement say now, you know, we're closer to understanding what happened, what does that tell you? I mean, August to now.
That's still concerning. I mean, where has she been? Why have family kept her from everybody? Is this a custody issue? Is this a mental health issue with the mother? I know there's concern about that. There's just a lot of unanswered questions here, and I think law enforcement really is going to dig into this to find out. And this is going to be a full-blown investigation. It's going to take a lot of time and a lot of cooperation from the neighbors and potentially from the family.
What do you think they're looking for when they might be confiscating surveillance footage from the neighbors? And what are the strengths of that, and what are the limitations of surveillance footage?
So it's only as good as the video that it captures. Some are Ring doorbell cameras, which only capture a certain small area right in front of the doors. And then a lot of these video systems have a very small limitation. Some of the more Ring systems will keep for up to 30 days. Others may overwrite in 5 to 10 days, depending on how the home system is set up. So I'm sure they are going through these systems trying to locate that video proof of her and that she is still with us.
If they search her house,
that's
what do you
my
think they're
thing.
looking
Is she
for?
still with us?
I think they're looking for any evidence that would support whether she is still alive, whether there are things that would support that she might not be, depending on what they find in there. I'm sure they're looking for
That's my
any
feel.
digital evidence
Night,
of
night.
her being around, whether it be pictures, whether she was on these other devices.
Dreams. Bye,
I would
Miriam.
say
Good night.
any type of DNA, fingerprints in the home, anything that in the trash that may lead them to believe that a small child would be there. There's multiple
Yeah, he
things. So
talking
you
like
really
she
step
not
back and
alive.
look at these things from hindsight, and you don't know what you're looking for sometimes until you get in there and see what you find. And it's a weird way to say that, but as an investigator, you have to go in there with your eyes open and try to see if you could understand what the home is giving you, what the circumstances are giving you, what are you seeing there, what's that search warrant allowing you to do. I would tell you, if I was an investigator, the first thing I'd want to see would be her phone. Her cell phone, I believe, would be the biggest piece of evidence possible for an investigator.
But not only because of messages or search history, but also location data?
Absolutely. It can tell you everything. Your cell phone can tell you pretty much where you go, where you've been, possibly where you plan on going, and any communication that you've had with people through text messages, through phone calls, through social media. There's a lot of things. And social media is another thing, too. I'm not sure if this mother was a big person in social media, but, no pictures of the child, not talking about the child. That's something that most mothers with a small child like this would be happy to talk about how great their child's doing in school and other activities in which to memorialize their life. Because a lot of us now memorialize children's lives on social media. So it's just something that's normal.
So she hasn't been charged with a crime. She hasn't officially been implicated. She hasn't been arrested. Her behavior, based on the report, seems very unusual. Like, if she's not cooperating, if she's not talking to the media, you would imagine if your daughter is missing, that you would try to get the message out there, that you would do anything you can. In your experience, have you ever seen a situation where family members do remain quiet, aren't speaking to law enforcement, and in the end they have nothing to do with that person's disappearance? Or do you say something's not adding up?
Some ain't adding up.
I don't think it passed the smell test. There's
Right.
things here that normal parents would be doing. Like you said, they'd be out there, and if my child had been missing, my daughter's missing, I would not rest. You would see me on every news outlet, every TV outlet. I would be at the police department every day trying to get updates. So there may be a small chance that there are some mental illness issues that's preventing her from reaching out and talking about this situation. But I really don't believe that that's the norm here. And like you said, what is the norm here? The norm would be parents trying to be involved, trying to show that there is a problem here, and trying to cooperate with law enforcement as much as possible to try to get their child back as quickly as possible.
Yeah, that's normal behavior.
You gotta trust them with your life.
You're in Boston
She ain't
now,
normal.
Reagan.
Trust me.
What are the challenges when you're dealing with a missing persons case of a child this young? Not an adult, not a teenager, but a little girl. Does it present challenges in terms of the availability, the opportunity to transport someone like this, to be able to, I guess I'm struggling. Is it different? Is it different if you're dealing with the disappearance of a child versus someone else?
Absolutely. I can tell you from what we do, trying to help families find missing people, when it's a small child.
Okay, let me get on, because, yeah. Hey, he died when she was 6 months old.
The rules totally change because now you're dealing with a smaller stature.
And that's when
person.
his side of the family kind of got removed.
Being in a location is much easier because they're so much smaller. And if somebody was nefarious, there was a criminal activity here, and something happened to her, it would be so much easier to be able to take that person somewhere. One individual could pick up a small child easily and transport them somewhere, where a total adult's going to take multiple people to be able to move that person. And that's concerning. That's one of the things that we look at, too, when we start looking at missing people, is the size of the individual, especially if there is a criminal element here. Is this going to be something that we need to be concerned about, whether they're actually moving the missing person if something nefarious happened to them? And even as an investigator, when you're inside the home, that small child leaves a smaller footprint than a large human does. There's things that kids don't do that we do every day. We have social media. Maybe, small children don't have social media. So you're missing possibilities of things that you could utilize.
She's just too detached for me.
The movement of the individual. And unfortunately, children just don't have that. They don't have cell phones, typically.
Okay, so let me get to the topic at hand. Yeah, please double tap the face of your phone and get the likes up for me, please. I would greatly appreciate it. And shout out to the ones who came in hitting it. And shout out to Willie Spencer. Had already hit the like before the live started. I saw you. Shout out to you. I greatly, greatly appreciate you. Hey, Naturally Narlins. Hey, Precious. How are you? Okay, so listen. The other day when we were listening to Old Girl, when the book first came out, let me get back to it. And she was talking to the co-writer. Lord, I had it all in place. And now I gotta scroll down. Here it is. And she made, thank you, makeup brushes. And when she was talking, I don't know why I want to call this lady Meredith. And they got a little touchy. I got flowers. Let me see. Makeup brushes. Thank you. And her and the other lady got a little touchy. And in there, I heard that there was settlements. So I'm wondering, it made me think about Cassie. Was there a settlement before? Well, I don't know if it was before. It had to have been before the criminal case. She settled, right? And then she was brought up on charges and she was found not guilty. But the way
you can take care of the guests most in the kitchen is just making sure the
thank
food
you,
is
Precious.
good.
All right, Kev, first burger of the day. I need those patties.
But then I was saying, well, how could she, if she pled guilty?
Is there a possibility?
Now she didn't play guilty, but she paid a settlement. See, I just don't think people. I just don't understand how you pay settlements of millions of dollars if nothing never happened. And why would you be pardoning people or commuting time for somebody who was found guilty or considering it, as well as gave hush money? Well, what's the hush money? What you hushing? So why would you let somebody out who done paid hush money, millions? No, so on this one, I watched. They kind of really got into it, and she cut a lot of stuff out on the one we watched.
Government. Might we get satisfaction from Virginia Giuffre's raw manuscript or her tapes where she does?
But yeah, I needed to watch this with y'all again because they kind of got into it.
Well, I would say, this is her book. I'm a ghost.
Oh Lord, she got it.
I am typically invisible. She's supposed to be the one here talking to you, and I wish with all of my heart that she were doing that. But a writer, a memoirist gets to make the decisions about what they want to include. And she made those decisions before she died, and I'm going to honor them. I'm not going to go beyond her scope. But again, I would say,
because she was trying to press her.
You're asking are better aimed at.
Yeah, because she was trying to press her to let it go. Just release it. She's already gone. What harm could it do? Can't nobody come get her. And so what happened is I wanted to touch bases on it, and then when I saw that they was kind of coming back today talking about it a little bit, and I saw Missing 9-year-old, and I'm like, oh Lord, please don't tell me somebody done went and got this Virginia's kids. So that's how I tapped into the little 9-year-old girl, because I was getting afraid that they were messing with her. But she is trying to press her to tell us. She's already gone. What's the hang up? And then I saw that they had kind of got into it. So I'm trying to get back to that part where they really got into it.
Well, I mean, any book like this, and this, of course you fact becoming a mom and a wife
Amy, thank you so much for talking to me about all of this this work that you and Virginia did together. I have such a curiosity about the knowledge that Virginia had, the knowledge
Please
that
double
Virginia
tap the
and
screen
Judith wrote down,
and hit
then
the like
what the
button.
finished product was. How much was edited out? Like, how many names of perpetrators were actually edited out for myriad reasons?
Well, you know, the purpose of her book was never to write a list of names. The list of names exists. It exists in the FBI files. It exists in the Epstein files, as we now call them. She had named many names in depositions already that have been made public. There are 4 different document dumps that there are many, many names in those. The goal of the book was to take you inside the experience of a 16-year-old girl who is swept into this world of predation. Ghislaine Maxwell and Giuffrie Epstein trafficking these girls and young women to their friends. And it's Virginia's experience from being abused very terribly in her young life, escaping, becoming a mom and a wife, and then becoming an advocate for others. So obviously, names are of interest to people. Any victim has to weigh the back and forth of the cost and the payoff of naming a name to try to hold your abusers to account, and then what comes with that. So loss of privacy, loss of safety. In Virginia's case, she had a death threat that the FBI called and told her was verified. You know, she had people breaking into her house. So this wasn't a paranoia on her part. She knew that there were dangers. And so with every different scene in the book, I know all the names that are there, but every different scene she had to make a decision about whether or not she was going to rename or name these people. And the book is the result of those decisions that she made.
Well, and I would assume anybody who's associated with the book, you're connected, the publishers, everybody is liable if these extraordinarily wealthy and powerful people decide to come after you.
So yeah, I've noticed that a lot of people have notified me that they're not getting a notification. And I don't know if that's something that I've heard people say that YouTube do that sometimes. So if y'all could go take the time real quick to go to your bell, click it. I mean, unsubscribe and then subscribe right back and hit the top notification. Maybe the top notification is not selected or was, you know, reassessed. I'm not sure, but that's the only way to fix that. And I have heard that sometimes YouTube do it. Why, I don't know. I don't know. That is what I had to do. Okay, yeah. You're welcome.
I would have assumed it was a team effort to say, can't name this one, or it's a world of hurt for everybody involved.
Well, I mean, any book like this, and you know this, you know, of course, you fact check. We interrogated it. I mean, it's part of the reason that she hired me. I've been a journalist for 30 plus years. I know how to investigate things. So this was not. I think there's a mystery surrounding a ghostwriter collaboration arrangement. This was not just me turning on my tape recorder and having her speak into it and then transcribing it and then cleaning it up a little bit and putting it into a book form. It involved a lot of extra reporting around her, a lot of documentation from, as I said, court records. I've read all of the depositions, not just hers, but everyone's in the case that have been made public. We talked to a lot of people around her who knew her contemporaneously during the Epstein and Maxwell abuse. Etc. That's not the full summary of our fact checking and our carefulness, but we knew, and she knew all along, that she was a target. If she raised her hand, she was going to get potentially slammed, and everything needed to be buttoned up, and we worked very hard to make that happen.
The hair stood up on my neck when you said the tapes, because I realized that's how you work. When you're working with someone as a co-writer or a ghostwriter, you tape those long interviews, and then you work with the material, which means there's tapes that have names. Will we ever hear those tapes? Will we ever hear those names? Is it a matter of waiting for certain people to die because you can't defame someone who's dead?
I think the question, the place to aim that question is towards the Department of Justice. You know, yes, I know who the names are. Virginia knows who the names are. But so does the FBI and so does the Department of Justice. That's why there's such a clamoring right now for the Epstein files to be released. It's not just Virginia who's come forward. It's many brave women came forward and talked to investigators. There's a scene in the book where they are all in a room being thanked by members of the Department of Justice for coming forward and asking for their help further. And that was years ago. So these files and this investigation has been compiled over many years, and it exists. So the idea that somehow the impetus should be on me or the book or Virginia herself or any of the other victims to continue on repeat to say these names, endangering themselves when they do, why don't you just go to the reports where they
Well, you know why, lady.
So I mean,
Stop
I'm not
that.
trying to play a game of cat and mouse here. We again, the book was not intended to just be a book of lists.
Well, she knew that.
No, and I understand.
And there
fully
is a
understand. I
list.
think the point I'm trying to make is that the women who came to Capitol Hill to ask, for the love of God, we are victims of this monster, release the files, shed light, put sunshine on it. It is time for people to know who did this to us.
Right.
And yet, it's not happening. And those women themselves
And you
said,
want
if you
us
don't
to buy
do it,
the book.
we will compile the list, which I feel Virginia's book could be. And that's why I ask these questions, not to suggest you're part of a cat and mouse game. I'm actually so curious to see, is there a possibility that if we never get satisfaction from this government, might we get satisfaction from Virginia Giuffre's raw manuscript or her tapes where she does
Hey, Joanne.
names with the narratives that are attached to them?
Well, I would say, this is her book. Again, I'm a ghostwriter. I am typically invisible. She's supposed to be the one here talking to you, and I wish with all of my heart that she were doing that. But a writer, a memoirist gets to make the decisions about what they want to include. And she made those decisions before she died, and I'm going to honor them. I'm not going to go beyond her scope. But again, I would say I think the questions you're asking are better aimed at the administration. The Trump campaigned on releasing the Epstein files. It was one of the main planks because he knew it mattered so much to his MAGA base. And this is not a partisan issue. People care about this not just in America, Democrat and Republican. They care about it around the world. Here's why. Because what's happened is people of wealth and import, people who have power and money, have been allowed to treat people who have no money terribly. And people are sick of it in a very broad way. And
Well, tell us who they are.
It's not a matter of this name or that name, or could you deduce who the people are who are in the book. It's about culturally, societally, us stepping forward and calling on law enforcement to do its job. I mean, I think that's really,
and that sure has failed these victims. I mean, without question of a doubt, anyone who's read into this case, starting from the Florida cases all the way up to the federal government, that these victims have been failed over 20 years. My question to you about the process.
Build a website you love with Wix.
She acted like she didn't know that this was going to be an issue.
It's so specific that and I think a lot of people will be surprised at this. I was surprised to see Virginia come out in support of President Trump as much as she did. A lot of people think he's not releasing the files because he's in them. And she's saying, at least when it comes to her, he's not. He wasn't involved at all. I think that's a big surprise to a lot of people. Is that the reaction you're getting, that Trump is cleared as far as Virginia's concerned?
I mean, when we announced the book, we made it clear that Trump was not implicated. Again, as you point out, Virginia was in the Epstein Maxwell orbit for about 24 months, a little longer. And so she only knows about that period. But in that period, she didn't
How did she get
see
out?
Trump in any sort of compromising position. She didn't see him abuse anyone. And in fact, you know, remember, she is procured by Ghislaine Maxwell. She is approached by this posh British woman with a beautiful outfit, beautiful handbag at Mar-a-Lago Spa, where she is working as a $9 an hour towel girl.
And she was sold and didn't realize
Club, which obviously Trump still owns. So she knew Donald Trump because she worked there. She thought she was honored to work there. It was a beautiful place. And she met him several times because her father also worked there and introduced him to her. He said, "Do you babysit?" She said yes. He gave her, you know, he had her babysit for some of her friends when they visited the club. So she had fond memories of him from her teenagehood. And then I was there in Australia with her in October, right before the presidential election. And here was this former president running for president again, partly on the plank that he was going to release the Epstein files. And she felt very validated by that. You know, remember, these women have been called liars, sluts, whores for a long time, for many years since they've come forward. And they shouldn't be believed. They shouldn't be believed. And here was a man, a former president, somebody who she hoped would be president again, saying, "I'm validating you. This is wrong. These files should be public. We should make them public." So she was absolutely, you know, galvanized by that. She felt very, very happy about it and hoped that he would win, and he did.
So,
how did that help her?
Everybody has a theory. Why has neither side of the aisle, when in the White House, released these files? Why has it been a bipartisan blocking of the sunlight on Epstein's case? And I've always theorized that there are very expensive, or they're very powerful fundraising sources who might be part of the problem. Naming them means the spigot gets cut off both for Republicans and Democrats. Am I wrong in thinking that, with the knowledge that you have?
I mean, I can only speculate, because really what you're asking me to do is get inside the mind of the Trump administration. I don't know what those conversations are, and I'm not a political reporter. I don't have forcing them.
And the Democrats. It's been an equal opportunity effort to keep those files blocked. So that's why I'm asking, do you think it's these are the money men that give to these administrations, that they give to the Democrats, they give to the Republicans, and to name them would cut those spigots off? Do you think that's part of the problem? Both administrations have said no?
I have wondered the same thing. I don't know what the hesitation has been. I think the reason that I'm focusing particularly on the Republican administration is because that's the one in power right now, and the one that campaigned on the back of trying to release them. So, but you're right. Earlier administrations, Democratic administrations, could have done so. Now, of course, we are not unsophisticated. We understand that releasing an investigative file is a complicated undertaking, but there are ways to do it. I mean, I have the investigative file of the original Epstein investigation in 2006, 7, 8, when he was first slapped on the wrist for procuring a prostitute, which is what they ultimately gave him a very short an unusual prison sentence for, but that has been released. So there are ways to do it. You redact names that are the victims, particularly, who you need to protect, who've come forward in confidence and didn't want to go public. But so I get that it's not just a matter of just handing over the file cabinet to the media. I get that that's complicated, but there are ways to do it. And I think what people are really saying when they say, "I want the Epstein files released," is they want to know who was abusing these girls. And they know that there were videotapes, because the girls, Virginia saw the whole camera setup, the monitors in the rooms. You know, she had Epstein say, the reason that we videotape all of these rooms is because we want to have things on people. So those things theoretically exist.
No, her brother said she did. He was there with her. After the bus tried to run her over, her husband was abusive. and for some reason the police was called and her kids were taken from her, and from that point it just went darker. So her brother confirmed that yes it was, and he was there. He found her and tried to resuscitate her.
Why? Well, let me ask you about that. Do they? Because I often wonder if they do exist, because
set up the monitors in the rooms. You know, she had Epstein say the reason that we videotape all of these rooms is because we want to have things on people. So those things
emotionally wrecked her,
exist.
and then her.
And why they're not?
Let me ask you about that. Do they? Because I often wonder if they do exist, because while these places, these homes of his on the Upper East Side of Manhattan, down in Palm Beach, while those homes were 100% wired, and the rating agents saw the detritus of that. I mean, wires coming out of the wall, hard drives and cameras all ripped out of there. He likely had some advance notice. Is it certain that the tapes exist, or is there a possibility that with the advance notice of ripping out all the hardware, he got rid of all the software and all of the videotape evidence as well before the agents were able to raid?
Hi, Roxy Bar.
Well, my sense is that we know that the Palm Beach house had been cleaned out beforehand, but I don't know that the New York house was cleaned out beforehand, because they picked him up at Teterboro Airport and they blasted into that house with a battering ram at the same moment, and he was surprised. So he didn't know it was coming. Now, do I know exactly what's on the Epstein files? No, I do not.
Stuff
on this. And had he maybe done a house cleaning and gotten rid of his trophy closet? Remember, this is a man who kept these things because he enjoyed them. So we described in the book that Virginia, there was a room in the Palm Beach house that was full of what can only be described as trophy
and he's
photos.
still alive.
Pictures of children, naked pictures of children. His collection of women and girls that he had abused. So
I don't know where he is now.
If he could get away with keeping them, he probably would keep them, because again, if those videotapes are there to be used for blackmail purposes, the only way you can use them is if they exist. If you destroy them, just to be careful, you can't use them against somebody. So again, do I know personally? No. I do not know what is in the Epstein files. But that's why we want to know. Tell us. Show it to us.
Yeah. I just thought once the heat was on him, once the heat was on him in Florida and he got his sweetheart deal, I would have thought he wouldn't want to spend another minute behind bars, and he'd get rid of anything as delightful to him as it might have been. It could lock him up for good, and that he might have gotten rid of that stuff. Can I ask you this?
Remember, he continues to abuse girls for years after that in that Manhattan townhouse.
I know, it's confounding to me. It's confounding. I mean, I think we're all on the same page there. So with regard to Virginia's deals, like when she signed a non-disclosure agreement with Prince Andrew and with Ghislaine Maxwell, the terms were so vastly different.
A disclosure with Ghislaine as well.
With regard to Virginia's deals, like when she signed a non-disclosure agreement with Prince Andrew and with Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yeah, she had a non-disclosure agreement with her as well, because she had a settlement. How could you even consider pardoning this lady or commuting time, moving her to a facility? For her to even try to act like it was all a lie. Why would you pay millions of dollars and then say don't talk about it? So how dare Trump? He talking about, I don't want him to pardon Diddy either, but he too toxic, I guess because people saw him do it. But she toxic too. And you know this firsthand. So whether Virginia mentions Trump and was believing that he would, release the documents and all of this, that, the file, He's still dirty. He's still new. He purchased other people, and probably unbeknownst to you, he probably got paid off of you. He probably sold you. You just don't know it. I mean, you were pretty naive. Pretty naive. So you wouldn't have recognized the pimp move if it was staring you dead in your face. Yeah. They were all in this shit together. And you just wasn't his cup of tea. You was just a little bit too young for him. But please don't make up no excuse to partner. I know Trump got people all over the place that got dirt on him that could expose him. And this is just one that will not go away for him. I'ma say this. He better not move her. She better not go missing. She better not, none of that. Yeah, it's gonna be a wrap for him.
The terms can be so vastly different. Did the terms of the NDA extend to her estate and to the survivors of her untimely death?
My understanding, and I would have to. My understanding is the NDA
D. Frog,
the Prince Andrew settlement when she accused him of raping and battering her. Prince Andrew pays her some of money,
Epstein.
And I don't know what it is. She was never allowed to say. She was under a 1-year NDA to not discuss it for 1 year.
But I'm here.
And
Thank
that
you.
was more than a year ago. There's no problem there.
Yes, she
Ghislaine
did.
Maxwell,
She did. I didn't think so either, but her brother confirmed that she did. Her good brother confirmed that she did. He tried to revive her. So he was in the house on the ranch with her. Well, I knew that they were working on it. And everything that Trump do specs is a test. Everything that they allow him to get away with is a test. So the longer they let him get away with stuff, the more he's going to try it. So, yeah. And the plan is to be a war. We already figured that out. Somebody told him that if there is a war, in the United States, or if there's a war going on, there cannot be an election. So the plan is to start a war. You don't see all these wars he's starting? And his plan is for us to be at war, so there cannot be an election. That's how he's going to get a third term. Ukraine gave him that information, and he was trying to get him some tomahawks for that information. And that's why Russia pissed off, because now he see him helping Ukraine, provide them with weapons to bomb Russia. Yeah, that Ukraine guy, Zell, whatever his name is, he told him pretty clear to me, that's what it is. That's the plan spec. Yep, I touched bases on that already.
Would have to. My understanding is the NDA for the Prince Andrew settlement when she accused him of raping and battering her. Prince Andrew pays her a sum of money.
Yeah, he evil.
And I don't know what it is. She was never allowed to say. She was under a 1 year
But you see,
NDA
somebody was already in. If it was true, somebody was already in them bushes. And I think Jared slipped up and told what the plan was. I told y'all all this was about that land and them rebuilding, and they're already rebuilding and making business deals over there. And he is allowing, I mean, I keep saying the same stuff. So it just like it don't register to people what's going on. So it's just like he has gave permission for terrorists to come into the U.S., Utah, right? To go undetected, unnoticed. Nobody really talks about Utah, right? So he gave permission for them to come over and build. What are they going to build? They're going to build missiles. They're going to plant what is it called when things just designate? They going to plant those little, I don't want to say the word bomb, but absolutely. And then they're just going to go off in the U.S. But it's going to have to be why him and his family is already on their way out of the U.S. Yeah, I mean, they should have stopped him from even letting Qatar come over to get permission to build in Utah. I showed y'all earlier today that he loves Saudi Arabia. Oh yeah, they're my friends. They've been spending billions and billions and billions and billions. Yeah, so we know he owed them. I mean, I don't know how many times I have to say it. I mean, it's easy for me to see the plan.
More than a year ago, so there's no problem there. Ghislaine Maxwell, there was an NDA about the amount. Ghislaine Maxwell settled with her when Virginia accused her of defaming, uttering her.
So she's already paid her.
Prince Andrew pays her a sum of money
for defamation.
I don't know what it is. She was never allowed to say. She was under a 1 year NDA to not discuss it for 1 year, and that was more than a year ago. So there's no problem there. Ghislaine Maxwell, there was an NDA about the amount. Ghislaine Maxwell settled with her when Virginia accused her of defaming Virginia by calling her a liar, which she did. And
right there. So she had to pay Virginia because she called Virginia a liar. So that means whether she pled guilty and was found guilty, she had to pay her because she knew that she had evidence to prove that I'm not a liar. So she paid for defamation. Why would they let her out for any reason? She paid for defamation and then went to court and was found guilty. So anytime I hear anything about lying, as far as this freak goes, we know it's not true. Because she sued you for defamation and you paid.
Virginia accused her of defaming Virginia by calling her a liar, which she did, and she won a settlement from Ghislaine Maxwell. Period. That's public. We just don't know how much.
My curiosity about that is, if she were alive and decided to blow the whistle and say everything that she wanted to say about someone like Prince Andrew or anybody else, then they would have recourse and they would either reclaim the settlement money,
Hey,
sue
Graham.
again,
Hey,
but
Karen.
she's no longer alive. That's why I'm curious about any kind of recourse that any of
Exactly.
these
He
people would
loves
have
Saudi. He
if
loves
she decided to
Israel.
open
He
the
loves all
floodgates.
that type of stuff. That's why he got that gold. That gold was a gift. He not planning on leaving. He is demolishing the White House. That's the craziest shit. But he a thug. So shame on the people who voted for him for whatever reason. Shame on them.
And just tell all.
Well, this is such a triple hypothetical. She can't open the floodgates and tell all. She's not alive. She chose
But that's why I'm asking the book and the manuscript. And the raw manuscript and the tapes. Yeah, whatever is edited out of the book, that's what I'm curious about. What still exists that isn't in the book?
Yeah, the book stands on its own, and I stand by it. We were very careful about being accurate, and that was important to Virginia. There's a lot of corroborating reporting that goes into this, and also careful in the sense that if there was any agreement that she had made, whether it had expired in the case of Prince Andrew, the year had gone by.
But hopefully he won't be here.
And we didn't include the amounts.
Hopefully he'll be gone.
The amounts of those settlements. I guess what I would say to you is that I am really kind of fed up with this idea that the victims have to carry the heaviest burden of always naming and renaming and renaming and renaming.
Oh, I'm with you.
Yeah, it was that part right there. We heard all of this, but it was that part in the middle about that payoff for defamation. You know, they don't want to talk about that. I mean, I hadn't heard it. Yeah, hold on. Clearly, and where are the A2 people stopping this administration for trading on them? Listen, this man he's a traitor of the United States. He's the enemy of the states. And what they waiting on, I will never know. They are appreciating the tax breaks that they are supposed to be getting. I don't know. All of them need to be replaced. They need to impeach him. They need to expedite an impeachment. But they allowed him to put all these people in place, you know, to allow him to run through the United States the way he's running through the United States. And then I see this over here. Let me bring this over here. Where they done been inside his house. I'm finna get ready to go, y'all. I've been over here for an hour, and I'm not going to even tell you what the lights look like. I'm just not going to deal with it. I'm going to say what I have to say and leave, and then I'll be back with the Rothschilds. Did y'all see that thumbnail? Wow. Did y'all see that thumbnail? I'm like, whoa, Jack. Whoa, Jack. What is that? Huh? This right here, disturbing new look inside the Epstein's New York mansion.
An article detailing new facts.
What in the world is this? What is this right here? What in the world? This is inside his home. He had this inside his house. What? Huh? Seven-story townhouse. The ex-offender hosts elite display photo with President show. What is this?
Well, this morning, the New York Times dropped an absolute bombshell of an article detailing new facts and information about Jeffrey Epstein's New York City mansion on East 71st Street. That mansion is an extremely...
That was across the street from who, T-Sippers? Who was his across the street neighbor? Huh? Do y'all remember? Is demons coming out the roof of the house? I don't know. Y'all remember who his neighbor was?
Valuable piece of property, and we've known that it was pretty much central to Jeffrey Epstein's criminal operations over the course of his adult life. But this article is filled with new information, new letters, and new photos that I've never seen before. So let's get into it. You may remember that a week or two ago, the Wall Street Journal came out with an article saying that President Donald Trump had written a crude and kind of mysterious letter to Jeffrey Epstein for his 50th birthday. Well, this article starts out with a letter for Jeffrey Epstein's 63rd birthday. That letter was from Ehud Barak, the former Prime Minister of Israel, and his wife, who said, quote, "There is no limit to your curiosity."
Oh, that's the guy who was the former Prime Minister that was in her book, Israel. So this is who, let's be clear. You know, we know he in there in the book. He's not necessarily in her book, but Trump is in the files. So that means that there's other females, and I'm just saying females. Someone use SNAP benefits. They help pay their wages, and when they go and pay for phone bills, paying for their wages, and the phone employees pay their rent 3 times the taxes. Understand? Hey, Cheryl. Yeah, I don't know what you're trying to. Yeah, I don't know what you're trying to say, Roxy. When someone use SNAP benefits, they help pay their wages. Whose wages? And then they go and pay for phone bill, paying for their wages. And the phone employee paid their rent 3 times the taxes. Who we pay? We the people who pay their taxes pay for SNAP. Taxpayers pay for SNAP. So you're saying the government employees, our taxes pays their wages, but the phone bill, I don't know if that's the phone bill. That's a whole different separate company. Only 2 SNAPs and the employees are government wages. Would probably is coming out of the taxpayers. We pay Trump's wages. Yeah, so I don't fully understand what you're saying. So, Mrs. Tom, hopefully. Okay. The loss of EBT will affect. Well, that's the whole point, y'all. The messing with Medicaid, SNAPs, Section 8. The whole point is to make. He tends to think that only black people are getting assistance. He's not factoring in the white people. So and let me be clear, not clear, clear. SNAP and welfare and Section 8 and housing was not created to help black people. Let me repeat. Y'all hit the like button. SNAP's welfare, any government assistance was not designed for black people. It was a benefit. It was just assistance. It was like a form of stimulus for them. Now, it didn't become a welfare look frowned upon or look down upon until equal rights, okay, came into play, and nobody could be denied that needed it. But make no mistake about it, it was for white people, and it was a benefit for them. And when it became for us, just like they changed everything else around, it became a handout. Okay? Did I clear that up for everybody? Hello? Are we clear? Are we clear? Yeah, it was a benefit when it was for them. When we, the other people, race of people, were entitled, it became a handout. But trust and believe, they give way more assistance than we do. Hey, Connie. Okay. Okay. And when you see them people out there with them signs about EBT, I mean, I'm sure it's some black people out there with that sign, but I seen some white ones with that sign too. I just didn't make I just chilled on it. But a lot of companies, a lot of businesses have been laid off. So you think the non-African American people who have been laid off didn't apply for unemployment, which they paid into, or EBT, which they paid into? You think they not applying for it? Trump, the administration, or whoever. We know he didn't put any money into the system for it to be there. Yeah, taxpayers. It comes out of my check every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks. So I have the right to talk about it because I pay into it. And if and when I need it, I am going to get it. Why? Because it's my money. I paid into it. Let's be clear. Now, it's the non-taxpayers are the ones who haven't been working, who haven't paid into it. Now, that's a horse of a whole different color. It's electronic transfer. Yeah, but so you saying that it won't? Yeah, but if they stop the electronic transfer in the systemized, put it in. I don't know. I'm a let God read the room, dear. Oh, what is the room saying? Okay, what is the room saying? People are on my last nerve today. Someone inside me broke this evening. Something in, oh Lord, okay. Lord, be a healer. Fix that. Connect that. Hi. When someone, oh yeah, I don't know what that means. Thinking, what could I do to help feed these families? Yep, statistics prove that. Okay, is seriously a black thing? No, that's what he thinks. Yeah, that's what that far right radical thinks. But no, reality, no. But they don't want to do the research. Every single check. EBT is electronic. I do have paid in. He's taking it. Exactly how it's supposed to work. Okay, Roxanne. Oh, you said Roxanne, read the room. Roxy, read the room. I have never had SNAP, but feel bad. Okay, yeah, read the room. I agree, Miss Tom. You can volunteer. Okay, let me finish this because I got to go to the Rothschilds. Okay, this is what I'm saying. This is the guy. So let's be clear. When we're saying, girl saying he never did this, that to her, but there are others who said he has. But who he's protecting is Israel, the Israelis. That's why they didn't want to talk about LeBron, really. They don't want to talk about LeBron. They really don't want to put emphasis on this, the bust they did with the NBA, with the they kept talking about the mob and the mobsters, but they don't want to talk about the Israelis that was involved with that NBA gambling sports. That's why I showed y'all earlier today the Saudi. They heavily involved in that stuff too. Okay? Yeah, but who they don't want you to talk about is the pro-Israel. And this man right here, him, y'all double tap y'all screen by just double tap the face of y'all phone. Yeah, this is the one who was vicious to her. This is who Trump is protecting. Why? Because he's Israel. And something is happening with Netanyahu. I can always say their name when they beefing, kinda. I can't say that name. I can't say his name when they all up in his tail. But baby, when they beefing, I can say Netanyahu real quick. Their name came up twice in a row. Yeah. He was the one who was vicious to Virginia. Asked Epstein to not, no, keep him away from me. And he refused. This one is who Trump is supporting. Now, I'm sure it's others. This is who he is protecting. Anybody that's in them files that is foreign, Saudi, Russia, Ukraine, but this guy right here, yeah. Oh, girl, name him. He was violent. He was violent and he laughed. They don't want us to talk about him, nor do they want us to talk about the Israelis that was in that bus, the NBA scandal today. So they over here clowning and breaking the law. Yeah. Let's be clear. Let's go.
And his wife, who said, quote, "There is no limit to your curiosity. You are like a closed book to many of them, but you know everything about every one." Further down in the article, there is a letter from a man named Mortimer Zuckerman, who is a but you know everything about every one.
Him and his wife.
Who said, quote, "There is no limit to your curiosity.
Him and his wife.
You are like a closed book to many of them, but you know everything about every one." Further down in the article, there is a letter from a man named Mortimer Zuckerman, who is a media owner. He's owned the New York Daily News, the Atlantic, Fast Company magazine. He, according to Wikipedia, he's worth about $2.6 billion.
What do you say when 1 in 3 Jewish Americans were victims of hate last year? When they're...
His letter included, quote, "ingredients for a meal that would reflect the culture of the mansion, a simple salad, and whatever else would enhance Giuffrie's sexual performance." The article also features a full letter from the director, Woody Allen, who said that the dinners reminded him of Dracula's castle, quote, "where Lugosi has 3 young female vampires who service the place." You can actually read a full scan of the Woody Allen letter, which says at the end, quote, "the large phone and computer at his right hand," talking about Jeffrey Epstein, "does take some of the relaxed home cooking atmosphere out of it, but one can't have everything, not at Castle Dracula." Actually, strangely enough, I went to see Jeffrey Epstein's mansion last year in New York City, and as I was walking back through the beautiful Upper East Side, I actually passed Woody Allen, who was kind of walking hunched over with his wife. I made eye contact with his wife, but it seemed like she didn't want to talk. Continuing on the article.
Oh, wow.
Eye contact with his wife.
Oh, wow.
The beautiful Upper East Side, I actually passed Woody Allen, who was kind of walking last year in New York City, and as I was walking back through the beautiful Upper East Side,
Hey,
I
Vicky.
actually passed Woody Allen, who was kind of walking hunched over with his wife. I made eye contact with his wife, but it seemed like she didn't want to talk. Continuing on, the article gives a lot of details of things that we already knew that are mostly background. For example, that people in the White House had previously said that they were going to release the Jeffrey Epstein files and have failed to do so, that Steve Bannon had visited Jeffrey Epstein's mansion and had recorded him for a documentary that's never seen the light of day, that Ghislaine Maxwell was just transferred to a lower security prison in Texas, etc., etc. And then we get more details about the interior design and decorations that Epstein had put in that mansion.
Weird.
Quote, "dozens of framed prosthetic eyeballs lined the entryway." We've actually seen this in Jeffrey Epstein's Paris mansion. The eyeball motif apparently extends across oceans. Jeffrey
I bet
Epstein
there's a
had
camera
an
in
interest
there.
in science, although some scientists that had previously met with him said that they found his ideas kind of shallow and vague. Continuing on, quote, "a sculpture of a woman wearing a bridal gown and clutching a robe was suspended in a central atrium. In the ground floor dining room, Mr. Epstein entertained a rotating cast of celebrities, academics, politicians, and businessmen. The food could be mundane, sometimes nothing more than a buffet of Chinese takeout," Mr. Allen's letter noted, but the events were anything but. Photos show that guests sat in leopard print chairs around a large rectangular table.
I like the chairs,
Occasionally,
man. I ain't
attendees
gonna
said in
lie.
interviews a magician performed. Sometimes a chalkboard was wheeled out so a guest could sketch a diagram or write a mathematical formula. Epstein preserved a map of Israel drawn on a chalkboard with Mr. Barak's signature, according to a photo reviewed by the New York Times. Then they show a photo of this table with numerous photos of Jeffrey Epstein with various celebrities and famous people, including Pope John Paul II. That photo has been public for a while, we know about that. Mick Jagger, Elon Musk, and Fidel Castro. Then there are more photos of Larry Summers, former President Bill Clinton, and billionaire Richard Branson. Interestingly, there is a photo of Jeffrey Epstein with Melania Trump and Donald Trump. We have the full-sized photo of that. However, Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's former girlfriend, who really stuck with him until the end, is cropped out. of that photo, so that's kind of interesting. Here's a framed dollar bill signed by Bill Gates, who founded Microsoft, and they say it was possibly as payment of a bet. He wrote, "I was wrong," with an exclamation point, Bill Gates. Continuing on, quote, "Up a grand staircase was Mr. Epstein's wood-paneled office, featuring a massive desk. Photos show a taxidermied tiger lounging on a lush rug. In the office, according to photos reviewed by the Times, Mr. Epstein showcased a green first edition of Lolita, the 1955 novel in which an intellectual develops an obsession with a 12-year-old girl. Atop a wooden sideboard were more framed photos, including one of Mr. Epstein with Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. Then we get a photo of his...
So that Lolita plane is tribute to a 12-year-old girl. And repeatedly ate her. So, which is an intellectual develops a actual obsession with a 12-year-old girl and repeatedly ate her atop of the wood. So that plane, Lolita's Express, is about 8 of a 12-year. This is sickening. Okay, oh my God.
Were more framed photos, including one of Mr. Epstein with Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. Then we get a photo of his bedroom. The walls are wallpapered in some sort of a floral pattern, and there's a blue and white sort of motif across the rug and the curtains, with what appears to be some sort of a love seat facing the bed. Now, this is where it gets truly interesting. To the best of my knowledge, the cameras that have been reported to be all over Epstein's properties have mostly been speculative, referred to in depositions, but there haven't actually been too many conclusive photos. Now, we can see in the corner of Epstein's bedroom, above this crown molding, is a surveillance camera. Then in an adjoining room, we can see another surveillance camera.
Wow.
The New York Times says, quote, "Several of Mr. Epstein's victims have said the mansion was outfitted with a network of hidden video cameras. There's also been mention that Jeffrey Epstein's New Mexico compound, the Zorro Ranch, has been outfitted with security cameras, although there hasn't been conclusive proof of that. However, this
Please hit the like button.
Credence to that idea.
Oh man,
Quote,
that was beautiful. Right there was beautiful. What pretty. I didn't say gorgeous, but I like that. I like this. This is pretty. This is, yeah, this is nice. But it's nasty. Nasty work, though.
lends credence to that idea. Quote, "In the massage room, there were paintings of naked women, a large silver ball and chain, and shelves stocked with lubricant," according to photos reviewed by the New York Times. It says no surveillance cameras were visible in the photos of the massage room. Down towards the bottom of the article, they say, "The Times reviewed 7 birthday messages given to Mr. Epstein in 2016. In addition to those from Mr. Zuckerman, Mr. Allen, and Mr. Barack, there were letters from the linguist Noam Chomsky and his wife, Jochi Ito, an entrepreneur who years later would resign from MIT and the board of the New York Times Company because of his ties to Mr. Epstein, as well as Lawrence M. Krauss, a prominent physicist. Lawrence Krauss has said some truly weird things about Jeffrey Epstein in the past. In fact, far from acting ashamed of his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, as so many people have, Lawrence Krauss actually seems to almost be proud of it. After Jeffrey Epstein pleaded guilty to procuring a girl below age 18 for prostitution.
When too much work bogs you down, Asana helps you handle it. AI makes it easy to hand off routine tasks and stay focused on important work. That's how work gets handled.
Dang it. So y'all didn't hear me. Y'all missed all of that from that commercial. Y'all almost caught a tit. I said y'all almost got me. It almost caught me. Y'all done missed all of that. Oh, wow. It was that commercial.
In addition to those from Mr. Zuckerman,
There
Mr.
we
Allen,
go.
and Mr. Barack, there were letters from the
I'm
linguist
just talking. Y'all almost caught me slipping and everything.
Joichi Ito, an entrepreneur who years later would resign from MIT and the board of the New York Times Company because of his ties to Mr. Epstein, as well as Lawrence M. Krauss, a prominent physicist. Lawrence Krauss has said some truly weird things about Jeffrey Epstein in the past. In fact, far from acting ashamed of his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, as so many people have, Lawrence Krauss actually seems to almost be proud of it. After Jeffrey Epstein pleaded guilty to procuring a girl below age 18 for prostitution, Lawrence Krauss said, quote, "As a scientist, I always judge things on empirical evidence, and he always has women ages 19 to 23 around him, but I've never seen anything else.
I think he's
so
worse
as a scientist,
than
my presumption is that
Diddy,
whatever
though.
the problems were, I would believe him over other people. I don't feel tarnished in any way by my relationship with Jeffrey. I feel raised by it." That unapologetic tone kind of continued in this New York Times article. The Times reached out to Krauss, asking him his thoughts on the letter that he wrote to Jeffrey Epstein, and he said he didn't remember the letter, but he attended, quote, "several lunches with very interesting discussions at Jeffrey Epstein's home." Now, there's so much that we could say. We could talk all day about Jeffrey Epstein's New York City mansion, how he purchased the home from Les Wexner, the owner of Limited Brands, the man who gave Jeffrey Epstein his power of attorney for some strange reason that's not public, how he rose from being a math teacher at one of New York City's most prestigious private schools to owning what the New York Times describes as a 7-story, 21,000 square foot townhouse under circumstances that seemingly no one can explain. Or we could talk about how so many notable, accomplished men and women continued to fraternize with Jeffrey Epstein almost 10 years after he had been convicted of procuring a minor for prostitution. But we'll have to leave that for another day. I'm going to link some wonderful resources if you want to learn more about this topic.
Okay, yeah, it was one other little thing I wanted to check, but I'm about to get ready to go. I have a live set up later. I may move their time up. About the about the Rothschilds. We gotta go there, y'all. We have to go there. Did y'all see that thumbnail though? Baby, that thumbnail is something else. Ooh. Whoa. Yeah, we got to go to these Rothschilds. Yeah, they say that Israel was built in 1948. Don't we need to confirm that? Don't we need to know if the what's the 411? Huh? What's the 411? And this Christian Zionist stuff, because they may mention Charlie Kirk was a Christian Zionist. I mean, I think it's Christian versus Zionist, but where they come from? So we gotta jump in there a little bit. Not a whole bunch, but we need to kind of understand. We know who was here first. We know we kind of know the divide with the the Jews, the Hebrews, and the Israelites. We did some little research on that. We've had They came from us. We did not come from them. It has been a secret. It has been intentional to cover up the truth. We know this.
We now move further through history.
Hold on.
Closer to the modern day.
I was on this last night. I'm not ready for that. Why the Jews ain't the chosen one. Listen. We got to go in, y'all. We have to have a full understanding because we have to recognize this trickery. You understand? We got to recognize this trickery. Battery low. We got to go in. It was this one with that lady. It was something that she said in the beginning, and then I cut it off. And then I got it set for late. But did y'all recognize that thumbnail? I ain't gonna lie. That thumbnail kinda, yeah. It was a little mind-blowing to me. Because they seem to hate blacks, right? Didn't Charlie and Trump and them, wasn't they saying that there shouldn't have been no civil rights and all of that? Didn't they say that, y'all? Didn't Charlie say that? Yeah. And then for me to be doing some research, trying to get prepared for the Rothschilds, and then I see this. Now I know, yeah, huh? Say what? Take that screen thing down. I mean, y'all can see that, can't you? Do y'all see that? And the title of that is there's a little, let me see if it what is that.
The Kings and Rothschilds, working together for civil rights with Janice Rothschild Blumberg and Nadine Epstein. By moment, Janice Rothschild Blumberg and her husband, Rabbi Jacob Rothschild, whose synagogue in Atlanta was bombed by white supremacists in...
Y'all do know that he's trying to say Rothschilds. Right. So imagine how big my eyes got. Oh, okay. Let me see. Thank you, ma'am. So imagine, I know y'all know, I know y'all know me as I'm trying to, do a little research on these Rothschilds and, how far they go back and they say they own the banks and they started that, the IRA and the S really started from the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds and stuff. So imagine, as I was trying to do a little research for my tea sippers with they spoiled butts, I see this and I say, whoa. I gotta be careful a while ago, y'all. I almost showed y'all the cookies. Not the cookies, but the girls. So imagine me when I said, whoa. Oh. I thought they talked bad about Martin. And Martin, what was you doing with the CIA? Wait, what? The Rothschilds and the Kings. I wonder what year was this? Was this before 1948? I didn't realize. So when he's saying, he's trying to say Rothschilds.
The Kings and Rothschilds, working together for civil rights with Janice Rothschild Blumberg and Nadine Epstein. By moment, Janice Rothschild Blumberg and her husband, Rabbi Jacob Rothschild, whose synagogue in Atlanta was bombed by white supremacists in 1958, were close friends with Coretta Scott King and Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr., working together championing civil rights. Janice Rothschild Blumberg and Moment's editor-in-chief, Nadine Epstein, are in conversation about Dr. King's and Rabbi Rothschild's partnership,
that brought the Black and Jewish communities of Atlanta together in the pursuit of justice against racism and anti-Semitism. Rothschild will share personal anecdotes and also talk about her soon-to-be-released book, What Is Next? Southern Dreams, Jewish Deeds, and the challenge of looking back while moving forward. Sponsored by Moment Magazine with the support of the Joyce and Irving Goldman Family Foundation, in commemoration of Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
Can y'all imagine my eyes? Now, I didn't listen to it. I just saw it and I said, oh, let me let me make a thumbnail. Let me take a picture. I said, say what? So Charlie Kirk was talking about civil rights, worst thing ever. He hated happiness, should have never had. Martin Luther King was poor excuse, whatever he said that was ugly. And here, the Rothschilds was working with him for civil rights. I'm like, wait, what? What's really going on? You understand? So I said, oh yeah, I gotta come back. I can't mix it together. I gotta come back. So what I'm going to do is hang this up, and I'm gonna move the time up to 11 o'clock because it's 10:54 right now. I'm sure y'all not gonna get a notification. So hold on. Hold on. Now I gotta be careful. Y'all, can y'all see this? So was the Rothschilds against civil rights? Were they really against black people? If so, at this point, the new Israel, they had already, yeah. This hole getting deep, ain't it? This is a rabbit hole for real. Hold on. So let me set this up right. Because I'm hearing that folk are not getting notices, right? So let me make sure it's set up right. Because as soon as I hang this up, I'm going to be trying to come on with this so I can go to bed early tonight. Is that all right with everybody? Is that all right? Give me a 1 if it's all right. And you said the uckery runs deep. Yes, it do, don't it? Or give me a 2 if it ain't with you. Let's go. 1 if that's okay. 2 if it's, no, AunTeaFee. Because I'm finna move this time over. I'm finna make it public. I ain't done none of that. On this one. Because I want to go to sleep tonight. Early. Let me set this up. So as soon as I hang this up. Y'all hit the like button. Y'all, ooh. Anyway, I ain't gonna fuss. Where's the time at? Oh, I'm on the wrong one. So instead of 11:45, do 11. Make it public. Okay, y'all. I don't know what category that really need to be under, but I thought I had done this type of stuff, but I haven't, so I'm sorry. Bear with me. Yeah, we gonna be prepared for what's coming. What's Me Too, Vicky? What's the Me Too? Oh, y'all said one. Okay. So it is 10:58 right now. What's the files? Release the files. Please tell me if y'all got a sleep. Yeah, please tell me if y'all got a notification. Did y'all just get a notification? Did y'all get a notification? Yeah, maybe because I didn't give it enough time. I'm supposed to give it enough time for YouTube to notify the people. No, but release the file. Yeah, okay, so yeah, I'm not giving it enough time to notify y'all. That's what's going on. I'm cutting it too close. Hold on. Let me see some. Okay, so it's on my other page. Okay, so listen, when I hang this up, you're going to see that there is a video waiting. Soon as I hang this up, hey, exclusive. Did you see that picture? The Rothschilds are finna hang up, y'all, and I'm gonna be right back. So go to this video. It's a thumbnail right here. It looks like that with MLK on it. Coretta and a Rothschild.